been, what, 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, it's been about that long, It's just, I've missed you dearly. I can't hardly stand. I'm going to start calling you every night to talk to you.
You're a busy man, world traveler. In fact, you were at the Sweet 16 last weekend.
I went to Sweet 16. Actually, it started out with the first game. Oh, yeah, that was my picture, I tell you.
Yeah.
There's a couple different pictures of me there with some people. And actually, just down in front of me to the right, another one over, was Kirk Gibson sitting there. Got a chance, and really nice guy. I didn't get a chance to really talk to him. And the game before, another game I was at Herb Washington. Have you ever heard Washington? Ran the Olympics and Michigan State guy. Great guy. Really great guy. Lives in Ohio. But yeah, I went to Cleveland first. Went to Cleveland down there. And the city of Cleveland, I really enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I mean, it's cool how I've been there one other time to the baseball stadium, and I didn't hardly remember it, but it was okay. I thought it was a nice city. Went to a great restaurant there, and
where'd you go?
It was
restaurant.
Starts with an M. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Is it on the street where it's all open and it's restaurants all the way down? And
yeah, right there by that was I'm trying to blank. It starts with an M, but it was an old bank built in the 1800s.
Oh.
And you went into us, and the first room you go into, and it's got all this marble and stuff. I mean, it was so cool. It was built in the late 1800s, and they took us downstairs. It was actually with a group of Michigan State, and we go downstairs, and they put a bar in this downstairs, but then they had a big vault over here that you could go into and everything else. And it was just a really cool different place that you wouldn't see. Really enjoyed that very much. But downtown Cleveland is right on the lake. That one stadium is right on the lake. The baseball stadium is right on the lake. It's a nice city, and it wasn't like overly crowded as such, and had a lot of nice amenities. And we walked around. Had some weather wasn't great, some bar restaurants there, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I really did enjoy it. And I got to see 2 games there, and of course 2 games in Atlanta, and that's where.
Over.
What's that?
You've been all over.
Been all over, like Florida and whatever. It's just been fun. I think it's become sinus season right now.
Sinus is one thing, and also it's just respiratory viruses. We've
Are
got
they really?
1 million respiratory viruses.
Maybe I have that too. You wonder about that at different times here, and I couldn't believe all this stuff, especially when I was in Atlanta. I went crazy.
All the traveling you've done too, you're going to pick that stuff up.
In an airplane and different weather, and different climates like type things. So, yeah, I mean it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been doing? You been doing anything great?
Let's see. We went to Washington, D.C. last week.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
That was great.
I think everybody needs to go to Washington, D.C. I've only been there like once.
Really?
Yeah, I've been there maybe twice. I can't remember. Once for sure. It would just be interesting to really spend some time just to understand Washington again.
What I guess it surprised me because I just hadn't experienced something like this, but everything was free. There's no admission to any of the buildings or museums or displays or anything, and it makes sense. It's ours. We shouldn't have to pay. So.
Did you go to a lot of things?
Yeah, we went to the Capitol. We got to go on the House floor, which typically you can't.
Right,
we got an escort
somebody
through Tim Walberg's office. It's amazing, and it's smaller than it looks on TV, surprisingly.
Well, you think it'd be big.
Yeah. And we saw the Smithsonian, the Lincoln and Jefferson memorials, the Library of Congress, the National Archives, Supreme Court, the Washington Monument.
You really did it up.
Walk.
Just you and Karen?
My 2 sisters and my brother, we all met. My brother and sister-in-law work at the Pentagon. So we got an insider tour of the Pentagon.
The Pentagon?
Yeah.
Wow. What's the Pentagon all about?
It's huge. It's amazing. It's, the Army, Air Force, it's the headquarters of all the branches, and it's crawling with the military. It's top secret, too. I can't tell you much more.
Yeah, I know that because they have to kill you.
Yeah. But it's like a city. They've got restaurants, they've got a post office, they've got a pharmacy, they've got a doctor's office. It's like...
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is a city in there.
In the cherry blossoms. It was cherry blossom time.
Yeah. I know while you were gone, my son and some of his family saw your wife out with her brother at Culver's.
Oh,
And
at
he
Culver's.
thinks your wife is so nice and everything else. I said, well, you don't really know her.
Well, have you
Karen
been?
is great.
You know it opens today.
Oh, is it Chick-fil-A?
Yeah,
I heard something on somewhere. Chick-fil-A is opening today.
yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Are you gonna go?
no. Not that I don't. I respect the company tremendously. I mean, I respect the values they have and everything else. And they close on Sunday because they do that for religious reasons, and I think it's cool. They do it. I mean, like I would go there on Sunday some, and I like Chick-fil-A. In Florida, I go occasionally. We don't go very often. Service is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
The way they treat you is excellent. I mean, I like their food. I like food at other places real well too. But it's great. It was good for Jackson. I'm glad they're here. Glad they came to.
Yeah,
Jackson.
the service. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. All
I don't
those
know how to do
people.
it either, but it's a tremendous franchise. I know it's just a tremendous franchise. But no, that is amazing. But yeah, going to Washington, I'd like to go back and have a time when it's not too busy, so I could see things and have the ability to go to certain places. And at one time. I did a pretty cool thing one time when I did go to Washington. I got to have dinner in the Russian embassy.
Ooh.
Yeah, because people we were with and knew that some way connected there. We had dinner in the Russian embassy, and it was okay place. It wasn't a great place, you think it's going to be something really special. And it was okay, but it was the Russian embassy and the guy and everything that stood there, and then did stuff in the Library of Congress and things like that. But yeah, Washington's it's amazing with all the historical things and all that.
Yeah, and I was told, and people have said since, it's a great food town with a lot of great restaurants. Unfortunately, we didn't go to any of them.
Didn't you? Yeah. I bet there are some great restaurants.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, we went to the food was good where we went, but
How many days were you there?
just 2. We crammed a lot in.
Wow, you did.
Yeah.
Was it crowded at all?
It was. It was spring break and school field trips.
Oh yeah.
Tons and tons of buses of high school and school-aged kids. It was crawling with kids.
Yeah, it would be nice to all kids, be able to go to Washington.
Well, I mean, it's everyone should go. I recommend
agree.
everyone should go. Yeah.
Only thing problem with there was probably a lot of politicians there, weren't there?
It was Friday. Well, Thursday we were at the Pentagon, so
Yeah.
apparently Pete Hegseth was not there. But on Friday we saw Kevin McCarthy, who was the former House Speaker. He's not even in the House anymore, but he on the House floor showing some people around.
Oh really?
So Friday there was no session. They don't work Fridays, and they're off a lot. But so we didn't see. I don't know. We saw people coming out of the White House that I think were on the president's cabinet late Friday afternoon. They left a meeting. They looked like it.
Right.
Yeah. They looked like the Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary.
Huh. Much going on in Washington these days, is there? Right.
Oh, there were protests. I mean, it was crazy, yeah.
I can tell you one thing. I got a chance to be fairly close to some of the basketball players, and they're tall guys. I'm not that tall to begin with. Oh my gosh, how do they walk around some of those 7-footers, 6'10", whatever?
Now, who's the guy behind you in this in the picture that was on TV?
No, I really don't know him.
He's very tall.
He looks
No.
ginormous compared to
He does look huge, doesn't he? My gosh, I haven't really noticed that. My gosh, he must be. I got that guy in Florida now. It's 7'9". He's a redshirt freshman, 7'9", but that wasn't him.
Now, it seems like, with all 4 number 1 seeds making it to the Final Four,
Yeah.
that you
Which is
really
unusual.
I mean, it's disappointing for Michigan and Michigan State fans, but I think the disappointment is tempered by the fact that these were really good basketball teams they lost to.
Yeah, I mean, that Auburn thing when they started out against Michigan State, and I watched the Michigan game because Michigan was there. We were hoping that Michigan would have beaten Auburn, and then they would have played Michigan State.
Yeah.
And I really was fearful of playing Michigan because Michigan I really think was a good team, real good team. They had those 2 7-footers, which were great, and both be in the NBA probably next year. And then their guards were good. They had a couple other guys stepped up, but Auburn had a lot of athletes. But you also looked at the Auburn team. a lot of seniors on that team. It could be fifth-year seniors and whatnot. And it's a maturity thing. I mean, when you're 18 years old, yeah, this is what happens now. You're 18 years old. When you're 19, you've developed a lot. Most people have developed even a lot more, become more of a man. 20, can you imagine 21? And hockey players normally never come out of high school and go into professionals. They never go into college. They go into some other league, then they go into college, then they go. So you put some seniors been around a long time. Obviously, we're good players, and it's going to be different. Even though the number one player they're talking about right now is this guy from Duke,
Cooper Flagg,
who's a freshman, and 6'9" freshman that plays like an NBA
he's amazing.
player.
I mean, he's really good. He's
very good,
yeah.
very, very good out there. But the whole game's changed now just because, again, if I'm this great basketball coach and got a lot of money behind me, I guess I can go out and find probably recruit a lot of different players.
All right, so you won't be going to see Michigan State play this weekend. What are you going to do this weekend?
This week I really don't have a whole lot to do. I'm going to try to see my grandkids and my kids and everything else this weekend. I go to church on Sunday, and I really don't have that much to do. No, it's a good point. I may stop at a couple of places. I like to stop by and see a couple of people and that, but no, I just came back working, had a couple meetings this morning. And tomorrow morning I'm going to meet a bunch of guys at 8:30 and have breakfast. And then I'm really not 100% sure. I don't think my kids have any games because they're just back from spring break and everybody's starting to practice all the different things they're doing. And
it's underway.
Everything. But yeah,
well, welcome back.
Really, really good to be back and good to see you guys. And I wish I wasn't here. I wish I was in California for the game Saturday.
Ric Walton
Thank you.
from the Walton Insurance Group. That's it. We're out of time. Thanks to Rick and everyone here with us on the show today, our great team, all our wonderful sponsors, including the Walton Insurance Group. And thank you for tuning in. You'll be able to see that Jackson College baseball game against Kellogg this weekend, all weekend long on JTV. Thanks for watching.